Church. Look, got 1 minute. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a roll call.
Mayor Hassler.
Here.
Alderman Smith. Alderwoman Johnson. Here. Alderman Donovan.
Here.
Alderman Jokerst.
Here.
Alderman Eidman.
Here.
Alderman Rainey.
Here.
Alderman Prince.
Here.
Alderwoman Armbruster. Here. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Very good. Move for approval of the agenda. Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Takes us down to our city administrator's report.
So I got a few items to update you on. We've been advertising for a cleaning person to take care of City Hall. Last person just didn't work out now that we have the new portion of the building. So we need to get somebody else in here to clean. However, we're not getting any applications. I think we're experiencing what a lot of different businesses are experiencing. So the other option is that we go out for a cleaning company and have them come in. It will be more expensive, but then they have to make sure that somebody is here, and we contract with them. It's their responsibility to do that. It may just be where it's 4 hours a week. It's just not enough for somebody to want to deal with or mess with, or there's just not that interest to come in and do that. So I don't know if this board is open to that. We would put it under a different line item and have to increase whatever the amount is that we find if we find a cleaning company. I know there's some in town, some in the region, so we can probably get a good bid. But just looking at whatever the board's pleasure is on doing that.
I think you need to do whatever you need to do to take care of the place.
Okay. So just so you're not blindsided with a budget amendment, we need to do that. Okay.
So we can go out and just get some prices from some cleaning companies and see what they are.
Yeah, but we might as well just put an RFP out there and we can get proposals and then go with whoever we feel is the best. We talked about the skylights at the Welcome Center. Architect Steve Bacon and I went down there and looked at them. They just need to be pulled and new lighting system put in. He can do the drafting and all of that. That will be something that we can contract with, but it just is not worth trying to save them or try to replace them because we're going to probably end up with the same problem again in the future. So we can kind of replicate what we have now with some lighting up in the ceiling, but we just want to seal it up tight and not have to worry about it. Bids were open today for asphalt street repaving and then the Parkwood concrete replacement projects. They look pretty good, and we'll have a recommendation at the next meeting.
Very good.
Any questions?
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Takes us to our staff reports. Tourism.
All right, I am impersonating Jeff Wicks tonight.
Very good.
So just kind of going over what we've got here, because I didn't get this from Jeff until today, like you all just see it in front of you. Frigid temperatures and snow. Despite that, stats show an increase in January Welcome Center traffic. Go figure, but you never know. The King's Ball was canceled due to weather conditions. Chocolate Walk has been postponed until this weekend. Another national list, World Atlas. And St. Genevieve has been featured in their recent article, Charming American Towns You Haven't Heard But Should Visit. So, again, word is out there, and it's nice to see that kind of coverage. So the Chocolate Walk is Saturday from 10 to 4. The Tourism Roadshow, it will be here on the 25th. We'll give kind of a quick open of, the benefits of St. Genevieve, why people want to come visit here. And then we're hoping that people come in the night before. We'll have a get-together that evening, and then we have the roadshow the next day with the Division of Tourism. It's kind of a nice way to feature St. Genevieve, so we're looking forward to that. The Gravel Classic continues to get planned. April 9th is when that will occur. We're going to start, it starts at 8. We're going to close the street off about 6 o'clock, so they can start putting stuff up. We'll have vendors down there. It'll be a large arch for them to time, where they leave and they come back. We have talked to the surrounding counties just to let them know we're going to be doing this Gravel Classic, and they're kind of excited about it themselves. So it's really starting to build. This Tuesday we talked to TrailNet who's organizing it. There were 94 people already signed up.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then we were expecting 150. We may get more than that. So they've also been talking to Valley to park up at the desert. We can have them park at the French Colonial, and then we've got the county parking lot also downtown, so we should have enough parking for people. Try to get them in the night before to do stuff. Information on the Welcome Center, 26% increase in pedestrian traffic. So you see the comparison between 2021 and 2022. And then the social media part of it, again, seeing some increases for the week. If you haven't look at the Facebook page and the stuff that Jeff puts together. It's really interesting, and I think it really highlights what the city can feature, or the features of the city, but they're just pleasant to look at. So it's not just putting a picture up and putting some words up. It's actually, there's a little animation. There's some great pictures. He's got a good eye when he's taking these pictures, and I think it really highlights the city and is more attractive and gets out there further. More people want to look at them. So,
Good deal.
any questions about tourism that I might be able to answer? Okay.
Thank you. Chief Steiger?
Good evening, everyone. Should have a report in front of you. A couple things I'd bring out to make sure that everybody kind of understood what I did with the LED lighting thing that I did. Because I had a question of how much have we saved. Well, I don't have that individual number because of the additional uses we've had at the station. But I took 3 years of prior to and took an average of that and then what we paid last year when it was a full year, and we had a difference of about $870 in savings over the average of what we had prior to. And if you add the $6,000 that we're supposed to be getting in rebates, then we should have them paid off by 2023. So they'll have paid for themselves again. We're still trying to work out the final numbers on those decorative lights versus functional. There's still some questions about that, but we have been told we are guaranteed $6,000 coming back. Also on the building and grounds, I did have a second company come out and take a look at the roof out there, and as you would expect, they have differencing of opinions on what they think needs to be done. So I also have a third one coming tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock to give us a third one, and then my staff and I will sit down and we'll figure out what we think is what we actually need, and then we'll be ready to go out for some kind of bids. And probably the other thing that I want to bring to everybody's attention is we did have our first official meeting of our recruitment and retention committee last night at the firehouse. We spent about 2 hours discussing a lot of things, and I think it went well. A lot of brainstorming. We're not sure 100% which direction we're going right now, but at least we're getting some thoughts out there and some direction we're headed. And any of the guys on the board that want to speak up, you're more than welcome to. See what you guys think.
I thought it went very well. In fact, got some information here if anybody'd like to take it. This is some information that Kenny put together. There's some very good information in there surrounding counties, what other people are doing. And this is a national publication and stuff that he passed out to us. It's got some really interesting information in there. I mean, we are in a crisis. We're not the only ones, but everybody's looking at different ways to be able to recruit and retain, firefighters, because it is a very essential, thing. Kenny did have some videos to show us, and we'd like to bring them to one of the city meetings and let everybody see them, but some alarming statistics in there. And some interesting statistics is how the volunteer fire departments, how much of the country is made up by them. Staggering numbers, but we hope to do that soon and stuff. But I think we meet together again on March 1. If anybody has any information they'd like to share with us, ideas or whatever, we're open to all suggestions. But I think it went very well, and I want to thank Mike and Ashley for joining in and helping.
The booklet he has in front of him, the blue booklet, I do have in a PDF form, so if anybody's interested in a copy, I can send you a copy of it. Basically what it is, I started off with a article that I clipped about what it's like being a volunteer firefighter, and then I went into county surveys like St. Genevieve County, how many departments, what kind of departments, and the number of calls and what they're doing. And then I went on through Jefferson County, St. Francis County, Madison County, Cape County, and also Scott City, which is northern Scott County. So we've got a summary of quite a few counties. Then I ended up with a few other articles that I'd written about or had seen and copied on recruitment, retention ideas, seeing what we're doing compared to what other people are recommending. And there's also an article in there about starting a junior firefighter program, which we've talked about a little bit too in the meeting the other night. So anybody's interested in that, holler at me and I'll be glad to send you a PDF version of it. You can take a look at it. Any questions?
Thanks for all the work you put in here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Thanks, Kenny.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. David, you're up.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
All right, you have a report there. See, there was a Heritage Commission meeting the 24th. Our next is on the 28th of February. Under Building Department, just an update on the demolition permit there. I think we've tried to keep you all informed, but the permit for 99 North 8th, that was held up by insurance services, and that has been released now. So hopefully we will see that addressed here in the next 2 to 4 weeks. And I also spoke with the owner of the other building, 250 South Gabourey, today. So there are plans for that to be addressed soon also. Under the plan organization, I know we had talked about completing that this Friday, but we're going to finish up. Actually, the cabinets are finished, but we're going to get the listing down there next week and finish up down there. I think Happy has labeled that the basement reconciliation day. I'm not quite sure.
Day of reckoning.
Day of reckoning. On the 2018, adoption of the 2018 codes, we went over that a couple weeks ago. Tonight, as far as the first reading, we did make a Facebook posting today, decided to split it into a few different posts and go over some of it bit by bit, so we'll do that here over the next month as we adopt those codes. We've begun the comprehensive plan process. I mean, we're just at the very beginning, but we have our first staff meeting to go over that next Thursday, and the majority of the steering committee has been established, and we will meet either the last week of February or the first week of March to kick off that process. Planning and zoning, when I typed this, we hadn't had our meeting, but we have had the meeting now. It got moved due to inclement weather to Monday night. The Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend for approval a rezoning that will be on your agenda on March 10th. So it won't be here next meeting, but the following meeting. And that's about all I have, unless you all have any questions.
Thank you for the quick response and the resolution at Windpress.
Welcome, and I will also be going out there to speak with that individual. So
Excellent.
they have resources available to them, but it's difficult conditions out there.
Yeah, I understand. Well, thanks for stepping in.
You're welcome.
Thank you, David. Takes us to our COVID discussion.
So you've got my email about masks. The numbers have dropped significantly, and that's, I think the same amount of testing is out there, but it has dropped significantly in St. Genevieve County. We are at 7, so our number is 10 when we started putting masks on. It had jumped up to an average of 36 to 40 in a week. So we have now fallen below that. So we'll open it back up, wait and see what the numbers look like. If there's another variant that happens, we'll probably see another spike. I'm hoping that was it, and we're into summer, and it'll still be there, but our numbers will stay low. I have not talked to Jennifer Mueller at the health department. I just figured since the numbers have gone down, there was no reason to see, didn't hear about anything that was going on out there, or any issues with that or with the hospital that needed to be mentioned. So that's it.
Thank you. Committee reports.
A couple updates for parks. We closed the survey, and we had about 134 submissions on that. A few of them weren't viable, so they didn't complete them or things like that. But overall, I think a lot of good responses. I read that we had a couple questions on there that people could submit like their thoughts, like actually kind of type out a little paragraph if they want, and I've read through all those, and there's some really helpful things in there that can kind of give us a little direction. So hoping to weed through all that and come up with some statistics and stuff that we can actually start applying. But I think we got what we needed for the grant applications and things with that. Also under the consent agenda, we've got another park board member, Dawn Schmelsley, I believe she goes by Shelley. She's a business owner downtown. She talked to one of our other board members and has some really fun ideas and has been involved in community projects before, so excited to have her come on board as long as you all approve the consent agenda. But other than that, I don't think there's anything else to update.
She's got a shop right across from Cyril.
Yeah, Rustic Sand Candles.
Yeah, I know her.
Oh, I'm done.
You did your report already?
I did my report. Kenny was up
Oh, I was all
there.
fired up to hear this report.
But I guess I will add something to it, though. To accomplish, some of the things we probably need to do, we're going to have to reevaluate some things. Probably going to have to dig deep when it comes to possibly some funds. But, these are all preliminary, and we just hope to come up with something that when that bell rings, we have sufficient people to do that, because timing, we heard, when you used to have 14 minutes, now you have 4 minutes to get out of a building with all of the new material and stuff. So people that might be upstairs, downstairs, it's going to be even more critical that we have trained people with the proper equipment to make that happen. It's a safety issue. It's just as important as any safety issue that we have to deal with day in, day out.
Thank you.
Just a quick thing. I didn't make notes, so I forgot about this. I don't know if anybody got a chance to drive through the park once the roads were cleared after the snowstorm, but the amount of people that came out for the good, we have finally had a good sledding snow, and the amount of people that came out in the park. I think I drove by at like 3 o'clock one day, and there were about 20 people on the hill, and that's after a bunch of people already left. And then the next day there were like over 30 people, and that's again after a bunch of people were coming and going. It was just a really great time with the snowstorm. I know we're all anxious to probably get it all melted away, but seeing the community come out and just engage with each other in the park was really something neat to see. So I thought I'd just mention that.
Yeah, that's a good hill.
So the building committee met, and you'll see some green lines on the floor in the back.
Yeah.
Those are those are the storage rooms for this space that we're looking at, and that is the corridor that will go back into the now existing corridor that goes to the outside door. So we're still working on what to do with the ceiling, because we have some issues with ductwork and how we're going to either conceal it or how do we want to incorporate it into what this looks like. So still working with Steve Bacon on that, and he's going to come up with a drawing that I'll be sending out to the committee probably next week or so to look at again. Had some good ideas, and we kind of knocked around a few things, but it's coming together.
So modern, expose it all, paint it.
So, funny you should say that.
I was going to say that. You see a lot of places.
We kind of kidded and hinted about that, because we also talked about exposed ductwork. But I don't know, we do have the rafter system is an open truss, but I don't know if we have really what looks good like you might see in an old brick building. It's kind of...
Paint it all one color, you won't notice the difference.
It's,
They
paint
save
it
a
all
lot of
black.
money on not putting the drop ceiling back in.
That's right. Yeah.
So we've talked about that. So
fun.
Steve's going to try to come up with some things, and we may do that.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
What kind of space is above that drop ceiling? I mean, how much?
Up there.
Not that much, because we're...
Some in here.
I don't know what was in here before, but I think the ceiling was low, it was raised up, so it's probably just open. It's pretty close to where those tiles are. Probably at 12 feet, and those are at 11.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got 11 foot,
No,
foot of space.
maybe
I got to get a 10-foot ladder to get up there. You know, for my height, I have to use a taller ladder to see.
10-foot ladder, you mean a 12-footer? Extension ladder. Oh, well, thank you all. Is that it?
Thank you.
So we have public comments. Kara's in the gallery.
Well,
I'm Kara, for most of you guys know me. So I'm here on behalf of the Oktoberfest Committee, a new committee formed for downtown. Patty Lewis is my co-chair. We're kind of co-chairs of the committee, and just want to let you know this new event that's going on. These are just some logos and things you guys can pass around to see. It's kind of started last fall, probably July, August probably. We started talking about the need for an Oktoberfest because, while we were settled by the French, it's German that's really that's left, and so it's kind of celebrating that heritage. I know at Audubon's we get asked all the time, where's the French food? Why is everything German? Blah, blah, blah. It's because that's what's left is the German. So anyway, this committee's come together. There's about 12 of us on the committee. It's actually a pretty big committee. And so we have set the date. We did a lot of research as far as other events that were going on in town and neighboring areas. And so the event is set for the 17th and 18th. And I've been working with Jeff Wicks about, he's been in all of our meetings for it too. So 17th and 18th, why is an Oktoberfest in September? Because that's technically when they start. They're usually the last 2 weeks of September and the first week of October. And the committee also felt October is a pretty big tourist heavy time already for St. John. We needed to extend it to September. And we wanted to do the last weekend in September, but St. Charles is that weekend. And so we just didn't want to compete. So we moved it back to the very beginning. So we've set the hours from 11 to 7 on Saturday and 10 to 4 on Sunday. It's obviously still in the very early stages, so we don't know. I'm sure I will be coming and asking for street closures and maybe liquor license and whatever, all of those approvals eventually. I just kind of wanted to put it on your radar and let you guys know that this was happening. So highlight of some of the events, we're pretty excited about it. We have already secured the Waterloo Band, which is a Oompa traditional German band, and so they will be here on Saturday. And then we're looking for a band on Sunday. We have one, a lead on one. However, they're $1,200. So we need to make sure we have a sponsor for that before we say, yes, come down. And we are looking for some German dancers. We've also talked to the I've left messages for our own German band here in town and for the cloggers that are here. We'll obviously have a beer garden. I went and presented to the Lions Club on Tuesday and asked them to be open. We're going to do a German food and a German beer homemade competition, basically. So we're like a sausage and sauerkraut and a Central Spatzel type thing. What I'm most excited about is we're going to do wiener dog races on Sunday. I just think that that's going to be a hoot. We're also doing German games, and then we'll have a vendor area, and then we're going to have a parade with like German culture. I have put a post in one of the Missouri Volkswagen groups on Facebook. I have 38 people already confirmed that they're coming with their Volkswagens. So I think we're 7 months from the event. So I think we're getting some pretty great traction. We're going to honor a German family. We're also working on doing an architectural tour, and then I've talked to the German clubs at both high schools, and they're going to help us put together a scavenger hunt for families to have a scavenger hunt kind of. We want to make sure it's still a very family-friendly event, even though traditional Oktoberfests are very beer heavy. So we have our Facebook page out there. It's SG Oktoberfest, and we're working on our website. Next step is obviously all of our sponsorships and corporate sponsorships and that type of thing. So we've kind of put that package together, and we're going to be rolling that out in the next week or two. To me, the very exciting thing is this week we've already got 2 vendor applications back this week already, and we know that there's already 2 more confirmed. So we're 7 months from the event and already have 4 vendors. So I think we're looking pretty good. We'll have t-shirts, and then the Steins, the sale on that weekend. Our goal is 2,000 out-of-towners and then 500 locals to attend the event. And we have talked to, I presented to the Community Foundation, no, to the Community Service Forum yesterday about applying for funds through the Community Foundation, kind of helping with the funds for that. So anyway, we're pretty excited about it. I think it's gotten a lot of traction. Anytime I talk with people, it kind of helps being at Audubon's and having so many different people coming through and kind of just chatting with them. So anyway, we've got a pretty good, our goal is this year we're going to kind of run funds through the Community Service Forum if they allow us to. And then after the event is over this year, we'll start on our 501c3 work and then be a 501c3 for next year. We just felt we needed to, one, use the time that we have planning the event, and then two, make sure the event goes off before we waste time and money getting the 501c3. So, any questions, suggestions, ideas? One of the things that our committee has talked about is like trash and helping with trash, and if the city would help us with the trash, if we would have to pay, since we're kind of an own road committee, we're looking at like $20,000 to pull off the event is what we're looking at between by the time we pay insurance and all of that stuff. And so trash was an issue that was brought up. We're looking at bringing in porta potties. I think we're going to have those for that event. And then is there something else? Insurance for the event, but I think we're hopefully going to go through downtown St. John for the insurance. So. Any thoughts, any feedback, any?
Exciting. It is
Okay.
awesome.
Okay.
Very
Thanks,
good.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you all. Okay. We'll hand out the our closed session minutes.
Very good.
Pretty big.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah.
Short and sweet.
Well, we'll move for approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye, thank you. So there is no old business, so it'll take us right into new business. The first bit of new business is approval of a low bid of BT Electric LLC for the electrical improvements at the St. Genevieve Water Plant as recommended by Cochran Engineering. I guess that's we're just looking for an approval of the bid. So you've got the listing there, and on the back is the bid amounts. We had 3 bidders. Brian Genches is here from Cochran if you have any questions about the bids and plans, drawings, or whatever. This is our first item is to approve this, then we can come back with a contract for the board to approve.
I got a question on the significantly lower on the electrical improvements part of the bid compared to the other bidders and the engineer's cost estimate. Are we sure that what they're bidding on is going to do what we need it to do?
I spoke with him after the bid the next day, and he found out that Butler Supply had left off all the drives, which is to the tune of $64,000. I talked to him, he said, I'm going to honor my bid. He goes, it happens. And the other item, which also made him cheaper, is the St. Genevieve's, the prevailing wage for electricians is $27 an hour. Most union guys make probably, with their fringe benefits, probably 65 to 70. So if he's not union, which I do not know that for a fact, he's going to be considerably cheaper. When I do a cost estimate on this job, I would take everything and I would, which I did on this one, I fluffed my bid by 25% to cover union wages, which was about 60 grand on my estimate. And if you throw in the 64,000 that he missed, that's 124. That puts him up, what, about 315, 320 in that range. So, yeah, he said he didn't sleep real well that night when he figured out that wasn't on there.
Oh, man.
So you could approve the bid, and you could also approve the extra to cover that, and you're still going to be the lowest bid.
Yeah, he'll still be way low if you give him a break and let him pay for his give him some money to pay for his drives. Apparently, the other two bidders, apparently, they had it on there. One of them said they had different sales reps, and one sales rep he dealt with apparently just didn't have it in there. The other guy, like Midstate, they use the same Butler supply place, but he used a different sales rep, and Nate had said, yeah, it was on mine, and Nate and Bruce must know each other. He goes, well, it wasn't on mine, and Bruce didn't check it.
So is that $64,000 about normal cost for those?
I shared my cost estimate with just Happy and Steve, and I had $64,000, I think, actually in there for the cost of those drives, which was kind of a...
Yeah. The understanding I have, though, from hearing this, is that it wasn't a very intense negotiation on that. Like, that was a quick concession on the 64 grand. I mean, he said he would honor the bid fairly quickly, right?
He did not know he left it off. He just knew he was low when he left here, and he said,
right.
It happens. He goes, I'm going to honor my bid. And then I talked to him the next day, gave him a day to sit on it, and then he figured out where he messed up.
Okay, so that following day, he knew the severity of that.
Yeah. No, he knew when he left here. He knew he was $150,000 low. He was at the bid opening.
Okay.
He heard all the bids. He knew he left. So yeah, he did not find out the next day. He was the only one here at the bid opening. Midstate wasn't here, and 5B was not here. But he was here for the opening, so he knew when he left where he was at.
He knew he was missing something, and
Right.
the next day he figured out what it was.
Yes.
So,
But he still comes in lower with those, if we were...
I mean, I'm just wondering how hard was the push to say, hey, are you going to honor that bid? Was it a hard push, or did he easily concede and say, yeah?
I didn't push him a bit.
So that, I mean, that's telling if you're reading between the lines here.
I can't imagine there's that much profit on a job that size.
Well, I think most of the guys, I think the equipment, I was around $200,000 on the equipment. If you look at his bid, how he broke it out, I put a line item in there for what I call general conditions. And the reason I do that is because if we, especially it's helpful with like a single contractor job like this, is because that allows them to put a space in there for their bonding and insurance. And so I can actually say, hey, you know what, if you get the job and you put your general conditions here, I can pay you 30-40% of that right off the bat to kind of help you out. And he didn't, I just looked at his bid and I figured he must have put his labor and stuff in his general conditions. And that $134,000, I thought, well, maybe that's his, just before I even talked to him, I just assumed that would probably look at his bid, that was equipment, and he just threw all his labor and profit or whatever he had up in general conditions, which is why his numbers was like that. And you look at Midstate didn't break their bid out. He just threw it all as the lump sum, and then PB Electric or 5B Electric broke theirs out because he's bid this before. He knows why I did that. And so then when he called back and said, that's why I called him and check his bid. Hey, you comfortable with your bid? I was expecting him to tell me I'm going to just eat my bid bond and not sign it. And he said, no, I'm honoring my bid. And it's kind of, in his standpoint, it's probably like a better term, death sentence to go against your bid bond and have that pay it, because that'll raise his rates and have him hurt getting bonded and.
But at 196, I mean, this is not at cost to us. I mean, there's profit built in there at 196, more than likely.
Oh, he's got his labor and some profit in there, yeah.
And we don't anticipate some change order to make up for.
I guarantee you this job is a rehab job. I have never done a remodel job, rehab job that we did not run into something. That's why I got you budget 10%, because there's something going to come up. 10 grand, 15 grand, what's up? We're not going to give them $100,000 worth of stuff, but I would be shocked if I don't have a $10,000 change order on this job.
If there's $64K in change orders, we won't scratch our head, is the point I'm driving at there.
I know, that'd be impossible to do is what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's hard to believe there's $150,000 profit in this job.
There's not. It's come down to certain things, like he may have the conduit sitting in his shop. I was telling Happy, I was finding conduit prices from anywhere from $80 to $350 a stick. And if you don't have that in your shop, it depends upon who you're getting it from. That varies on your price. The cable prices for the service entrance was real close together, so that was pretty good. And plus, if they're paying union wages, they're going to be triple his labor. Like, I know that's like Jefferson County, I just had a job finished up at their electrician were $64.80 with fringe benefits. And most of the union guys, by the time you go through the payroll and you see their pension, their vacation and stuff like that, they're really in a over $70 an hour range, probably almost 75. And so, like I said, he's not union, which I don't think he is. He can have guys making a lot less than that. And I don't know about the other two, but they're probably union, and that's one reason why they were much higher.
But we don't know that for sure.
I don't know for sure. I would assume they are.
So what really are our options? Approve the 196 or?
You can approve the 196, you can amend it and approve it with the 64,000 added. You
I
can
would like to
reject
do
all of
that
them.
because,
I would too.
and I'm not saying BT would do this, but if I knew I was eating 64,000 on the job, I'd be looking to try to save something somewhere. And I would rather he just not have to deal with that and give us what we're paying. Like I said, I don't think BT would do that, but I mean.
It's still $100,000 cheaper.
Right.
Yeah, and he was upfront about what he missed. So it's not like that it came as a change order. Oh, yeah, by the way.
Yeah.
He's upfront, we were upfront with him. What do you want to do? And then when Brian talked to him the next day, well, here's what I missed. Okay. Well, we can at least incorporate that information to the board, and the board can decide.
Would he then resubmit a bid?
No.
With that cost included, so we could see it? He won't do that?
No, I mean, you've already got it. You've got what the total is plus
What I would recommend you
64,000.
do, if you guys would like to give him an extra, actually pay him for the equipment he's got to buy, because we need the drives for this to work. He has to buy them. I would recommend you award the contract to him for the $196,000, and then we do a proposal request from him to say, hey, okay, I need you to add the 6 drives you forgot, and then amend the contract.
I like that because it's all spelled out that way.
Yeah, no, I would not recommend.
Right now, it's 64 grand in hearsay, and I think that's a dangerous way to.
No. I would not recommend you do that right now. I would recommend you award the contract per his bid form. Then we go back and ask for a proposal request for him that he'll put in writing what he's going to pay, and then just make it all paper trail.
Right.
I would not recommend doing that off the
But
bat.
as this job moves along, you're still going to inspect everything done down there and guarantee. Yeah, I agree with Mike. I think Joe.
Yeah. And just to clarify, this comes out of the ARPA infrastructure funds? Is that
Yes.
what the budget is?
Yep, and it'll be split between that and the water sewer fund, depends on how we balance it. Yep.
Steve, you comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay.
You comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
What Brian said, yep.
We don't want a bad reputation.
So you need a motion and a second.
I make a motion to do what everybody said.
I'll second it.
Yeah. Approve him as a low bidder.
Yeah, okay, that's what I do.
Do you have a second? All in favor? Aye. Very good.
Okay, so tomorrow I'll get the notice of award out to Bruce, and basically I give him a notice of award. He takes a week, he gets his insurance and stuff to me. We get that back, we just let him know the process, and that's all good. We approve it, and then we send the contract stuff to him and get that back. Then we issue notice to proceed, and then we'll do the change for the drives. Okay?
Very good. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Takes us to the first reading of Bill Number 4469, an ordinance of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into agreement between the City of St. Genevieve and the St. Genevieve Municipal Band.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Very good. Takes us to Bill Number 4470, an ordinance repealing and replacing Section 605.020, regulations, assignment, and transfer form.
Move approval. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion for a second reading?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Takes us to the second reading of Bill Number 4470, an ordinance repealing and replacing Section 605.020, regulations, assignment, transfer form.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a roll call, please.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Yes.
Alderman Donovan.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Eidman.
Yes.
Alderman Rainey.
Yes.
Alderman Prince.
Yes.
Alderwoman Armbruster.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 4470 now becomes ordinance 4390.
Thank you. Takes us to bill number 4471, an ordinance by the Board of Aldermen approving a facility agreement and work order estimate with Citizens Electric Corporation for the relocation of the service main and transformers at the water plant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion for a second reading.
Second.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Second reading of bill number 4471, an ordinance by the Board of Aldermen approving a facility agreement and work order and estimate with Citizens Electric Corporation for the relocation of the service main and transformers at the water plant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a roll call, please.
Alderwoman Armbruster.
Yes.
Alderman Prince.
Yes.
Alderman Rainey.
Yes.
Alderman Eidman.
Yes. Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Donovan.
Yes.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 4471 now becomes ordinance 4391.
Thank you. Takes us to reading of bill number 4472, an ordinance allowing the 2022 Show Me Green sales tax holiday to apply to the local sales taxes of the city of St. Genevieve, Missouri between April 19th and April 25th, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion for a second reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second reading of bill number 4472, an ordinance allowing the 2022 Show Me Green sales tax holiday to apply to the local sales tax of the city of St. Genevieve, Missouri between April 19th and April 25th, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a roll call, please.
Alderman Eidman.
Yes.
Alderman Rainey.
Yes.
Alderman Prince.
Yes.
Alderwoman Armbruster.
Yes.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Yes.
Alderman Donovan.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 4472 now becomes ordinance 4392.
Very good. Takes us to first reading of bill number 4473, an ordinance amending Chapter 500, Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 2, Building Code, Section 500.110 in its entirety.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Takes us to the first reading of bill number 4474, an ordinance adding to the section 500.100 definitions of Chapter 500 Building Codes of the St. Genevieve Code of Ordinances.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there any other business? Joe? Looked like you had some other business.
No.
Okay, well, if there's no other business, oh, Bob, you got other business.
Probably just like to make a comment while Ron and Steve are here and stuff due to our situation we had with the snow and stuff. I don't know how many people have really got out and ever pushed snow and stuff, but this was probably one of the toughest ones I can remember with the ice and the type of snow it was. And of course, with their hands tied with the equipment issues and stuff, I mean, I never had one complaint to me, and I usually have two, but never heard from either one of them, and I think they did a good job for what they had to work with.
Yeah, I think the citizens did a good job, too, of understanding what we were up against.
Right.
With that said, is there an ordinance prohibiting people from pushing their personal snow out into the streets like there is lawn clippings and stuff?
Usually,
I hope not.
Usually if it's driveway, you're probably okay. If it is a driveway parking lot, we don't want people pushing their snow out of the parking lot, but out of the driveway.
Are we talking about throwing it in the middle of the road? So that
Yeah,
it gets
pushing their
plowed?
stuff out into the street so that it gets plowed, even though we didn't have.
So they push it right back.
Yeah, because it gets plowed back into the driveway generally.
Oh, and
But there's nothing prohibiting people from doing that if they're caught, technically.
I don't think that's ever been an issue. The issue has always been large amounts of snow coming from a parking lot or a parking area that gets pushed into the street. That just creates another problem because you have more than what you generally get in a driveway.
you you go ahead, because
Oh, I was just going to say that we had help, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, we received help from the county and from the Special Road District.
That was great.
Yep. Very much appreciated.
And we thank both of them.
And while we're on the topic, I just wanted to share with the board, I already shared it with Steve. I had received some positive comments about our street crew and the plowing job that they did in one of the subdivisions. You know, it's always kind of a nuisance whenever you just shovel your driveway and then the plow comes down and leaves it all in front of your driveway. And our crews, without much extra effort, were able to do that where they could to keep the snow out of blocking in the driveways that were already shoveled and things like that. And particularly, this comment was in reference to Johnny and a job well done. So I just wanted to share that with the board and whatnot.
Yeah, he helped me out. I had a pretty good pile there, and I was working, and he came by and scooped it. So. Is there anything else? Meeting adjourned.